This is about your voice, and that's the most important thing right now, is your voice being heard. Some people might feel they can't do much at the moment to make the changes on the planet, but actually you can, because every time that you are evolving and evolution kicks in and you're discovering something like what you've just said, that what you discovered is now in your head, and now that you shared it with others, it's in our heads, and we're like, oh, that's, you know, the terminology of light workers, we're the, you know, got a torch, we're lighting the way, the pathway for others to sort of see or to experience that too. It's actually, it is changing things, and I think we've got to the stage that we don't want to be gaslit anymore by others, you know, that narcissistic tendency of like governments and, you know, who rules us to some degree. Destabilizing the energy on the earth at the moment. So that would include wars, that would include the Epstein files, that would, you know, there's a lot going on in the world right now. Bear with me a moment. It is sometimes to feel uncomfortable within this journey. Reasons being is so that then you question, as in what you are witnessing and why you could be here any particular time. At this time on your planet, and like many other times, there will always be wars, because the planet and the energy of the humans never sit or reside comfortably with each other. There has to be change. There has to be that feeling of living hell at some times. You are living on this planet at this time, being taught, experiencing every emotion, every cell in your body. You have to feel into what is occurring in your body and how it makes you feel. Then the answer appears. For some of you who are avoiding conflict, this does not work. You are avoiding the lessons of growth, of evolution, of learning. You see, on your planet, there is this fear that is arising even more at this particular time because of the fear of what's to come. Again, your planet is being put on hazardous alert. There is great change. And many of you will be feeling this. Many of you will be feeling tireder than you've ever done before. This tiredness is because you're going through growth. You are feeling the pressure. You're also receiving information and data download in your dreams. So what they're showing me, there was something about, someone had asked me also something recently about ascension, about enlightenment and ascension. How can we ascend? How can we change our energy? How can we become enlightened? It's almost as if it's a goalpost in front of you, but actually when you're going through difficult times, you are actually ascending, and ascending means that your energy is changing. You're becoming enlightened, you're becoming aware of what's happening to you. So when it's uncomfortable, it's all about change. It's all about that feeling of your energy is shifting. It's shifting to where it needs to get to. It has to go for the uncomfortability of change. It's like not recognizing yourself. So for instance, as an exercise, if you look back at any old photographs that you have of different stages in your life, when you look back at them, it is to see how you felt in those photographs. How do you feel about yourself? What was going on for yourself? In those photographs, it'll give you information about where you was at. I did this myself recently. I had 5 photographs of different times in my life. Looked at them. In the photograph, I was smiling, but there was so much heartache and so much pain going on. And when I looked at it, it was about me running away from something, escaping. It was about me, you know, having fun. What I called fun at that particular time, it was masking what was going on in my heart. So it was like me drinking alcohol, it was like me going out, spending lots of money, going to flashy restaurants, buying flashy clothes, and I thought I was really happy. But what it was doing, it was just masking how I truly felt about myself. I felt insecure, I felt very vulnerable, very fragile, didn't know, you know, what was going to happen. And so when I looked at those photographs, why did I not see it that time? I couldn't see it that time because also I didn't want to sit in the heartache, the pain. So I was disassociating by running away from it all, by buying those expensive clothes, by going out to those restaurants, by going out drinking heavily, just to avoid looking at the pain of how I was really feeling. And today, as a therapist, I had a client here that literally, it was the same thing that she had been going through, that she was trying to sort of paint over a crack, you know, that you have in a room or something. You paint over it, fill it in, thinking it's going to be okay, without really looking at why that crack's there. And it could be literally a blocked drain pipe, or the roof has got a leak or something, but it's looking deeper at it. And that's what's going on right now. This is not the time to avoid things, to run away. It's just to move through it. Allow yourself to feel the emotions, allow yourself to sit with the uncomfortability, because the minute you sit with the uncomfortability, already you are evolving, you are changing. Also, what we're being shown at the moment, you know, through social media, through, you know, looking at newspapers, hearing what's on the radio, what's watching on the TV, about what's happening around the world, the wars, you know, the injustice that's happened around the world. You are bearing witness to that at this particular time, and it's important that you are bearing witness, because how is it affecting you? So if you spent a day listening to the radio, the news, the TV, I don't know, whatever it is, and then talking to people about it, how is it making you feel? It's not saying it's not actually happening, but it's a sense of fear. Humans have this feeling that they want to keep themselves safe. Of course they do. So they're going to be looking out. It's like if a car, you know, is by the side of the road, you're driving on the motorway or the freeway, you're looking at, you know, it's pulled over to the side of the road. What happened? You're trying to already assess what happened so it doesn't happen to yourself. So you're like, oh, this is what happened, or the tyre burst, or actually if they'd gone at this speed, or they'd gone too fast. It's a normal human thing to do, is to look at the dangers around you to keep yourself safe. But what's happening now is we're hearing it, we're seeing it, we're feeling it. It's coming from all different angles around us. It's creating fear again, and this is not the first time on the planet this has happened. When you create fear, you create separation, because as an individual, you want to protect yourself and your family. And so then you go inside yourself and it's like, no, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. If you look at religions, again, I'm not religious. I'm just into about energy and source energy, you know, whatever we want to call it, divine energy. But that is not about separation. That's about being connected. You know, divine source energy is about feeling that connection, being part of it, feeling it in your heart center, feeling that you are being guided by something else, knowing actually that you had the power to create change in your own life, to empower yourself. What's happening at the moment, there's so much fear on the planet. It's creating separation again. It's creating conflict between religions, people, castes, you name it, genders, purposely to separate ourselves again. This time it's not a pandemic as a virus, but the virus is the human behavior. And again, through separation, through fear, then we're not coming together again. So the idea when we talk about ascension is working on yourself and to go internal and to look at how you are evolving. You become that arrow, you become that magnet to everything else that changes around you. If you go into fear mode, you separate yourself and then you distance yourself from everyone else. But if you work on your own energy, because that's what you can change, that's the difference. You work on your own self, as in connecting, whether we want to call it higher self, or we connect to our guides, or we know that we are part of the energy field around us. So, which means whatever we think about ourselves is being projected out, it's changing our world. So for instance, if you're having one of those days and you wake up, how you might interpret or what you think others are going to think of you, you create that, you only see that. Whereas if you see yourself being very different, in the sense of, if you start looking at yourself in a different way and caring about yourself in a different way, the outside influences aren't going to affect you that way. This is a time of empowering yourself and finding out more knowledge about how you expand yourself. And the reason for that is so that your gut instinct kicks in, your intuition kicks in, your psychic self kicks in. You're all psychic. When you can connect to your intuition and that psychic self, what happens is you start to see the world in a different light. You can feel into it. You can go, right, this doesn't feel right, I'm not going that way. I'm going to change that direction. Instead of working from the brain, where the brain gets so confused and it's measuring everything up, it's weighing everything up. Shall I go this way? Shall I do that? Shall I do it for the family? Or shall I do it for myself? Or because my boss told me to do that? Or whatever it is. And connect to your higher self. Connect to your guides. If you don't work with guides, it's your higher self. If you don't work with your higher self, it's your intuition, it's your gut feeling. So that you can tune in and feel something doesn't feel right. That's going to be really important as you move forward. The information that I want you to receive is from source energy, guides, universe, your higher self, whatever it is. And that's how you ascend. You're doing that now. You're doing that now because you're sitting here in the group, you're listening to this. You're expanding yourself. You're becoming very enlightened. You're searching for that information. Because you're here. A lot of you are in my classes. You're doing the work on yourself because the experience you've lived through life is having an understanding, why has that happened? Why did that happen to me? It's actually for you, but at the time it doesn't feel like it. So that relationship or, trouble that you've had, at home, or someone losing their house, it's all these things are happening. It's because it's showing you how strong you really are. What the courage you have, the wisdom that you have. But it's us learning to see that rather than flipping it over to the other side or thinking something's been done to us. So when someone says to me, I want to be able to ascend, but I'm worried because everything I'm, watching or I'm feeling or thinking or whatever, and they're listening to the news, that's okay to listen to news if that's what you want to do. But is the news actually factual? Is it really happening in the way that you think it's happening? Those leaders that we have, we appointed those leaders because we didn't take responsibility ourselves. So now it's us to question, do we want to keep those leaders in place? Do we want others to tell us what to do? I'm not creating a revolution here. What I'm trying to say is you've got to look at what you want now. And that starts with you individually, and then it goes off like a ripple effect out into the world. So you start changing your energy of how you see yourself, what's happening to you, what's going on around you. So then you end up that energy bouncing out through you and other people who are like-minded that you connect with. It's about empowering you right now. We're not living in medieval times. This is about your voice, and that's the most important thing right now, is your voice being heard. That balance, that masculine and feminine energy, it's going to be so important as we move forward. Your voice is about to be heard, loud and clear. Looking at the roles that we are going to play on the planet right now, as the observer, whether it's observer or the bystander or someone really rallying, getting involved or whatever it is, but it's about what we are going to feel comfortable with. So anything that is happening at the moment, if anything is brought to the surface that comes up and how we might feel about it, and a lot of the feelings like that anger or frustration, it's looking at what else is that telling us about ourselves. So it's about us being reflective and looking at that journey. What's going on for us when we hear this? How is it affecting us? Is there something that's happened to us like in our own lifetime? Or could it be, if this not lifetime, could it be a past lifetime that's come up? How is it making us feel? Is it making us feel really angry or frustrated? That means it's not about running away from it. It's about then sitting with that uncomfortability. Where am I feeling in my body? What is it that is being brought to the surface right now? It's going to be so, so important. Because that's part of our ascension. That's part of that, spiritual awakening. And that awakening is constant. We want to wake up. We want to see things. We want to feel things. We want to grow. That's part of our evolution. It's those who aren't waking up to the fact there is changes. That's fine. They'll do that in their own time. But we're sort of like the light torch bearers that lead in the way, in a sense, for others. And wherever you are in the world, it's like there are going to be others, like in, either family members or friends or colleagues we meet. It might be just a drip feeding little words that how we feel that might help them in a way. It's not to say in a narcissistic way that we are the ones that we know we're doing, but it's like to say that we're aware of change, and that's going to be really important as we move forward, because our bodies are feeling it too. And this is the thing, it's not only what we're eating that we might be health conscious. It's not only what we're drinking, we might be conscious about that. It's also what we are picking up, emotions from others as well, and what we're hearing. It's going to be very, very important. And it will be that time of going to people we might know for a very long time and going, nope, I don't want to engage in that relationship anymore because of how that relationship might be feeling with a friend or a colleague or a family member as well. This is the time to sort of go, no, I'm not feeling comfortable. I'm walking away. Thank you very much. Not running away from it, but I just don't want to have that sort of toxicity in our lives. It's so important that individually that we step forward at the moment and we do the work on ourselves, that we raise our frequency, that we look at questioning things that are happening around us. This is the time of questioning, because then the information that we learn, it brings it into reality even more. So, we know our brain is our control tower, controlling our body and everything else, but our mind has been really we've been like brainwashed in a sense to think that this is our reality, the matrix that we're living in. And fear as part of that, and governing rules and regulations. I understand that. I'm not here to sort of, so let's break all the laws. I'm not here to say that. But what I am saying is that this is about now, our beliefs are very powerful at this moment. Some people might feel they can't do much at the moment to make the changes on the planet. But actually you can, because every time that you are evolving and evolution kicks in and you're discovering something like what you've just said, that what you discovered is now in your head, and now that you've shared with others, it's in our heads, and we're like, and this is how it's contagious, which is brilliant, because we're like, oh, that's interesting about that device, that Einstein and everything else, and some of us might go off and research it, and again, it's expanding us. And this is what needs to be put out more and more of now, about what we are doing, how evolution and what we're finding. And that's, the terminology light workers, we're got a torch, we're lighting the way, the pathway for others to sort of see or to experience that too. So important to share our findings, our experiences, because it opens up for everyone else to sort of go, oh, I'm going to have a look at that. And the more that we focus on those new things, it comes into reality. Being shouted down at, in a sense, it's looking at that, like one of the people, one of our clients today, but because that she's become quite aware of herself now and looking at energy. She believes in energy. She's a therapist, a counsellor, a coach. And she said it's very difficult because her husband's very practical minded, logical thinking, doesn't believe in this. He believes in science. And she's found it very hard to share with him her experiences. And then I said, what I'm being told is that to look at what that actually means for you right now. Why do you need him to step up? Why do you need, and what you just said, why do we need others to acknowledge where we're at on our journey? Because really this is about showing us our own strength. It's about us saying that we're okay. There's this feeling, sometimes, and I said to her what came up, it's a bit like, I was always last on the netball team at school. No one picked me. I wasn't very sporty at all. I was good at playing hockey, but everything else I wasn't very good at. And so I used to stand there like, nobody really wants me, but, they have to pick somebody. And I remember the teacher shouting at one, in one class, it always stays with me, her name was Mrs. Luck. And and I'm like 57. How do I remember that? I was 11 years old. But I remember her shouting at the team and saying, you need to pick Anne, because she's the last person standing, literally. And now I'm like, I don't care. Because now I'm like, do you know what? The person I am now is very different from that little 11-year-old girl, where she felt that she was small, her voice wasn't heard, who's going to listen to her? She was witnessing abuse at home, what people might think of me. Sometimes if I look at it now, if I could go back to my 11-year-old self, I'd say, actually, you're learning so much about yourself right now, Anne, and to sort of see it as this is a learning ground, this is a teaching ground for yourself. So through our experiences that we experience, it's a great way of turning it around like a mirror and looking and going, what is this teaching me about myself? Because now it's for your voice to be heard. Said about demons and heaven and hell, and you were asking about that. It's interesting. Someone has said to me, Anne, do you believe in heaven and hell? And I'm like, we're actually living in that contrast at the moment on planet Earth. This is it. But it's about where we pay our attention to. It's about where we focus our energy on, and that's one of the biggest things. Yes, terrible things happen to people, the wars and everything else, and you know what we're going through on the planet right now. But it's like, what do we want to focus our mind on and, you know, our energy on, because we can actually change it ourselves. So individually, you know, by us just looking at our own energy and going for our own growth, you know, can you imagine everyone on the planet who's going through that change? It's drip feeding, it's making a change to the energy. It is changing things. And I think we've got to the stage that we don't want to be gaslit anymore by others, you know, that narcissistic tendency of like governments and, you know, who rules us to some degree. And again, this is not to create an uprising as such, you know, because then if you have no rules or regulations, what could that be as well? But it's like literally now what's coming to the surface is us to look at, well, we do have an opinion and we do have a say, and that's going to be very important as we move forward. But that's why it's so important that you've got to learn to your own selves as well, that you can have connection to source energy. It's not about, and you know, again, I'm not anti-religion, it's not about going, you know, to some sort of, I mean, to say, just learn how to connect to your higher self and just have that conversation, and then that will guide you, you know. And it's about offering that space in the classes to do that, so that you guys connect. What do you do when you're off balance? You might fall over, you might sit there, you might cry, you might, you know, lost your way for a little bit and you sit there. And then you have to get back up, because there's no other option, is there? Really? That's why you're here. So it's learning how to get back up. And it hurt. It was painful. And my guide said to me, this is what it's like when you have a belief or a feeling or something comes up or something you believe in, and then something pulls underneath you, or you lose your balance, like me falling over on my roller skates or set of skis. I have to learn to get back up again. But what I did learn, and you know, through using, you know, about my wrists, when I broke both wrists, I was living on my own. I just left my 32-year relationship. I know I can do this, no problem at all. And so 2 fractured wrists, and I'd broken my neck again, and I damaged my shoulder, and I couldn't even get up off the sofa, and I couldn't wash my hair, I couldn't do anything. And of course you're going to feel sorry for yourself. And the pain was incredible, and it was like 12 weeks of that pain. And I remember my guide saying to me, you have to find your balance, you're finding your strength, this is how you're doing it. It's very painful, but you're learning to adapt, you're learning to get up, you're learning to trust again, you're learning to do this again. So, you know, it's like when we fall off the cart, or when we feel that we've lost our balance, we have to sit with it. It's okay. You have to feel the emotions. You have to go with those feelings. You have to honor it. It's so, so important. Trace it back into your physical body. Where is it I'm feeling? Is it in my heart? Is it in my gut? Is it in my stomach? Is it in my pelvis? Is it in my legs? You know, wherever it is, I want you to feel into it, because that's where the emotions are stored. And then there could be a connection to, is there a physical part of your body that has physically felt this before? And then again, you keep moving back through it. I had a client the other day, and it was literally, she was abused as a child, and she had forgotten about it, because that she needed to forget for a while because it was safer. And then also we tracked it back, and it did go back to a past life. So what I suggest is, when you're going through something, follow it into the body. Where can you feel it the most? Is it my wrist? Well, it was, because I fractured both of them. Is it my arm? Is it my heart? Is it, what sensory part of your physical body are you feeling it? And then you tune into it. What's the emotions? Where's the connection? You know, where does it take it back to? And follow it. And then through that, you may get imagery, you may have a sense of knowing once you follow it back, and then to sit with it and to let it heal itself. You have to take time with this. So it's not about rushing it and moving on to the next thing. It's about sitting with it. Why has it come to the surface? And by being a bystander and observer to what's going on in the world, we're also learning from it for ourselves too. So there's something there that, if it's really affecting you that much, whether it's anger or frustration or sadness, you know, empaths especially, be tuning into this, it means there's something that's been brought to the surface that needs to be learned. It's something that needs to come up, so you are witnessing it. It may be that you turn around and you go, I'm never going to witness this again, in the sense of, I'm going to do something about it. So that's what's really important. So it may be that whatever's coming up to the surface right now, if it feels very strongly, there may be something about you taking action about it. we are going to be faced with situations that we feel that, oh, we've beaten that, or we've got through that, or oh, it's happened again, and why is it happening again? And again, well, because we're different. You're not the same person that faced it the first time round. So now you have a little bit more wisdom, so you'll be facing it slightly different. So, there's different parts of you. You're changing all the time. And remember, this came up today in the interview that I did, that, you are that diamond, you are that soul, that is your soul. And every single facet is part of you that is here to learn in this lifetime, past lifetimes, future lifetimes, very parallel universes, you name it. And also the relationships that you have in your world, your colleagues, your friends, your family members. You're being created and formulated like a diamond, 360 degrees. We need to go through sometimes when we're having those experiences that we're going through great changes. But the change is different slightly each time because of the know-how, what we know because of what we learned from the first time. So when we fall over, when something happens, we pick ourselves back up and we go, I can do this. But of course, as the adult, which is separate from the child, the naivety doesn't have that memory of all those things that we may have done something wrong. The subconscious mind hasn't stored it all up. The child goes out naively and innocently and does the same thing again and again, picks itself up. With the adult, we sometimes don't even try because we're using past reference information because, oh, I remember what happened last time. We don't need to remember that. We need just to move forward. So that's, it's a good point. So we're going through changes. The meditation is just a moment. Just a moment where there's just some energy, channeled energy through meditation, through their words that comes through. And you might hear what you need to hear at any given time. It may be of service to you, it may not, but just allow yourself to receive. So when you're ready, begin that process of just closing your eyes. So just taking a moment. Be mindful of your breath, acknowledging your breath, visualizing or imagining or feeling or sensing that breath as it moves through your body. So in through the nose and just gently allowing it to float the back of the throat, moving all the way down through the physical body and allowing that connection. Be mindful of that breath as you observe that breath as it moves through your physical body. You may even want to give it a colour or a light, whatever it is, or a gentle sensation, how you might feel it through your body. As you're breathing in, as you're breathing out, allow it to flow gently down through the trunk of your body, feeling as it moves down through the core part of who you are, and coming all the way down past the stomach, through into the pelvis now, just feeling that connection. Feeling that strength as you're there, just like that trunk of the tree, strong tree in your physical body. And just to imagine now as you move further down with that breath, allowing it to sit within the pelvis, feeling that energy, feeling that embodiment of that feminine or that masculine energy, feeling how you're balancing out the energy either side. Allowing that energy to flow through the pelvis, down through the base of the spine, and rippling it down through your legs and sending it all the way down now. Be mindful of pushing it down through your legs, through your knees, coming down to your ankles and allowing that energy to sit at your ankles. Allow it just to sit there for a moment and then pushing down on the out breath. Be mindful pushing it down through the soles of your feet, through your toes, and allowing it to move through the earth, through the ground, through the floor, where you are sitting right now. Be mindful as that energy, as you're allowing yourself to begin that connection through your root system, through your toes. It's that extension of your toes pushing down through the earth, through the floor, through the ground, pushing all the way down into the core of the earth and allowing it to settle, allowing it to be still, anchoring to the earth's energy. As you're there, be mindful of any vibrational feelings you may feel through the soles of your feet, as you're allowing yourself to breathe in and to breathe out. And allow that energy as it begins to rise up through the soles of your feet, maybe a warm or tingling vibrational sensation as you imagine as it gently vibrating up through the soles of your feet. As when you take your next breath in, you draw it up through the soles of your feet, through your legs, the base of your spine. Bring it to the pelvis, allow it to sit in the pelvis of who you are, and acknowledging the changes that you're all going through. That masculine and feminine energy, allowing yourself to feel more comfortable in that energy field. And as you're breathing in and as you're breathing out, on your next in-breath, you're drawing the energy up through the pelvis, up through the spinal column. You can feel that energy as it moves in and out of each disc, the vertebrae. The energy of the liquid rising up now and coming up all the way up to the base of the skull. Just feeling that sensation, almost as if your nerve endings, almost as if when you're breathing in and breathing out, you can feel that extension of your arms by your side and feel that sensation, maybe a tingling or pins and needles or a prickling sensation through your fingertips as you begin to connect. Feeling as if that you're spreading out to the energy fields around you, that membrane of energy, your auric energy field of that expansion of your soul self, that you are feeling that expansion more than you've ever done before. And the nerve endings within the spinal column now, you can feel it as it ripples through, almost as if it's a circuitry that comes through on the spinal column, as if it's stretching out to all the organs and sending messages to the rest of your body. As you're breathing in and as you're breathing out, that feeling within the heart center, like the empath that you are, that you're sending love and light out into the world and being in receivership, waiting for it to come back into you. Being in that place of peace and love and harmony, feeling that the energy as it rises through you, up through you, bring it all the way up now through to the throat center. And really allowing how your throat center, that as you breathe in, as you breathe out, just gently allowing the energy to flow and to focus in that center. Allowing it to free whatever's blocking in your throat. Allowing your energy to rise up into the jawline and allowing yourself to feel that language coming through your jaw. Feeling that as your tongue begins to feel freer than it has done before, that it's time that your voice is to be heard on the planet at this time. As you feel that energy rising up through the back of your skull, you can feel it now, your ears beginning that expansion as it's expanding out. Like the waves of energy around you and the frequency, almost like a radio, being in receivership of hearing what it needs to hear in connection. As you're allowing that expansion around you, feeling that energy of expansion. It's almost feeling that through the fingertips. It's almost like the branches and the arms that you have, like that tree. Feeling as you're allowing that extension, expansion around you. It's like that tree's changing, that tree of life. Feels as if, almost as if the branches are gently moving as new life is coming in. There's new beginnings as they're beginning to bud upon your fingertips, almost as if that as you begin to bud and as you begin to nourish yourself, that those beautiful leaves and fruits are waiting to be picked. That you are making all the difference in your life, that you are changing what you need to change. This is a time of change, upgrading, up-leveling for yourself. And just like the fingertips and just like the branches and the twigs, so it stretches up and wide above you, you can feel that yourself connecting out into the sky and beyond, like the universal field of energy around you. You can just feel it as it touches the energy around you. Almost as if that whatever you ask for, it's just there and just waiting for you to reach your hands and just to touch. Everything that is yours, that's always been yours in the universe, is just waiting for you just to reach out, to touch, to grab, to bring back into your world. And as you're there in that space, feeling the energy around you, it's almost as if you're acknowledging and becoming aware of the extra leaves that are beginning to bud on this tree, your tree of life, your soul's awakening. You can just feel that change through the cycles, through the nature. And as you're there in that space now, just feeling that energy around you, allowing yourself to have this energy of golden light around you, a sparkling sensation as it moves through your cells, as you are breathing in and breathing out, that golden light that gently begins to pour back into your physical body. Feeling through your pores that they are moving through internally within you. And as you are there in that space, like a golden waterfall that just gently moves over your head and through your skull, you can feel this golden light of energy, like gold leaf, as it gently begins to settle internally within. As it begins to come internally within, it sort of feeds through your soul and feeds through your organs, as if it just begins to clear and add clarification into your world, to your life. Be mindful feel that energy as it begins to settle through the trunk of your body, and as it drops down into your pelvis, feeling into that settlement within the base of the spine. It begins to anchor you down through your legs, and as it draws down to your root system, you begin to feel how you are anchored onto the earth and how the earth feeds into your energy. How you are part of your environment, part of your world. And as you begin to breathe in and out and observing, you begin to be aware of how your energy flows back in, that your breath is nourishing you and feeding back through the pores of your body. And then on the count of 3 in a moment, I'll bring you back into the space that you have once expanded, and now you're going internal. Taking a moment as you breathe in and breathe out. 1, begin to be present, begin to be aware of where you are resting, where you are sitting, feeling your feet. 2, begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. And 3, take a nice deep breath in. 3, and opening your eyes when you're ready. Come back wherever you've been, come back. Oh, some of you went right out there, had to bring you back in, a lot of you, honestly. Goodness me, I love that.